Welcome to four-wheel drive, take a deep breath. You find me at 1,100 meters above sea level at the top of Table Mountain overlooking the city of Cape Town. And the reason why I'm up here is that I want to show you the route that I'm about to take. Over the next 6 episodes, I'm heading north. I'm heading north hugging the cold Atlantic Ocean, right up through South Africa, through the Northern Cape, into Namibia, into the desert sea of the Namib Desert, and ending my trip in Walvis Bay. From Table Mountains, from this elevated position, absolutely amazing. You can actually see, right now as we speak, the weather system that gives this entire coastline its life. We've got a very cold ocean, the Atlantic. It's frigid. But on the land side, this is Southern Africa. In the summer, it gets very, very hot. So when you mix these two things, cold ocean, warm land, you get this weather pattern. And we can actually see it right in front of us. The cold Atlantic air pushing in fog, and at the moment it's enveloping Robben Island in the middle of Table Bay. And it's this that gives life to the desert right far up north. In fact, the furthest part of our journey, we hit the desert seas of Namibia before our destination, Walvis Bay. Now what we're going to do right now is go back down. If you look carefully, in the distance you see a dark mound. That's a little hill, and from that hill you get a fantastic view of Table Bay and Table Mountain. And then beyond it, there's a white patch. That's a playground for four-wheel drivers, about 100 kilometers north of Cape Town, called Atlantis. And we're going to visit there twice. First by air, and then with our four-wheel drives. Cape Town doesn't have a climate, it just has weather, lots of weather, which is really kind to filmmakers. So this episode was shot in windows of opportunity over some months. Of course, this is Cape Town's premier tourist spot. This and the winelands, and the waterfront. Stellenbosch. Okay, it's not only but it's the big one. Now on the southern part of the mountain, get such a brilliant view of the front coming in. This is a typical winter type weather. And what will actually happen is now this cloud will come right over, and over the next 3 to 4 days, Cape Town will be shrouded in cloud and this mountain will be closed. And we've just pulled off the main coastal road. We're not much more than about 15-20 kilometers from the city of Cape Town. And I've been told that if you want to get a good view of Cape Town, this is what you have to do. Climb up there. It's about 32-33 degrees, a bit too hot to walk, so we're going to try and drive. And there is a track, we can see a track. I don't know how good it is, how easy it's going to be to drive, but let's go and hope it's worth it. It better be worth it because the track is rapidly disappearing. We found it, crossed a fence, and this has to be the track, but nobody has driven here in years. It is so overgrown. The funny thing is that the closer we get to that track now, that's a difficult track. Much easier when you're further away and it just looks like 2 tracks in the bush. This is absolutely amazing, but I can see that we're not at the highest point. There's another ridge over there. We'll get a much better view a little bit further on. I can see Robben Island. This is amazing. And you know why this isn't a popular route? It's because there's no cafeteria up at the top here. It's not wheelchair friendly. That's probably why it's not on any brochures. Sign up ahead might be the end of the road. Well, we have actually come to the end of the track a little earlier than we thought. There is a fence here, and this is actually a game reserve, a conservancy area, and we cannot go into it. But the view is still fantastic. In front of us, Table Bay, Robben Island. I've never seen Robben Island like that, except when flying over it. Absolutely magnificent. You can see the ferries going out to Robben Island, and way out north of us is the West Coast Road, and that's the road we're going to sit on for the next 3 weeks. We are in the West Coast National Park. The park is dominated by the Langebaan Lagoon, a huge tidal estuary. It's used as a harbour, deep enough for large cargo vessels loading up with iron ore from mines far in the interior. But it's best known for something else altogether. The one thing the West Cape coast is not short of, and that is wind. For about 6-7 years now, the beaches along all of South Africa's coasts have been closed to 4x4s. So generally vehicles driving on the beach, unless a special permit is given to those who are launching boats, is not permitted. However, there is a vehicle that is allowed on the beach, and we are going to go and ride in one of them. I understand that there are parts of New Zealand like this, places where there is always wind, and people who will try anything for a thrill. Andy!
Right, nice to meet you.
This is what I've been waiting for months to do this. Blow cart from New Zealand. You're going to teach me how to ride it?
Yeah, it's very simple. The few things you've got to know about sailing is where the wind's coming from.
Okay.
Right, so this is coming off the land.
Right.
So whatever we do is we got to make sure that we don't turn with the wind. You always, when you're turning, you turn into the wind, so you don't drive the boat.
Okay. 20 years ago I used to race laser dinghies, and I haven't sailed since.
You'll pick it up in 2 minutes. Okay. That's how long it takes to become an expert in this.
Okay.
As it starts to turn over with the wind, you just release the sail.
Okay.
You almost turn it on itself.
Okay.
So
we go easy with the turning.
You go easy with the turning.
Okay.
Now, if you want to stop this, it's got no brakes.
Right.
You just turn into the wind.
Okay. Or ease the sail out and turn into the wind.
Sail out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're going downwind, the best way to do it is go up into the dune.
Right.
Because that's where the wind's coming from.
Okay.
Release the sail entirely.
Okay.
And then you'll stop.
Okay.
It's there. It's very stable.
Okay.
You've got
Should
if
we
you
give
sail
it a
the
go?
dinghy, why not?
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
Okay. So all you need for this is a bit of flat beach, a bit of wind, which is very good because there's no bathers around, so it goes well when there's.
Okay. I should leave it facing into wind.
Yes. Okay. What you always do, you start off into the wind.
Right.
Okay. Let's get you seated there.
It's blowing a good 25 knots. That's about 46 kilometers per hour, and it's blowing out from the land. Ordinarily, in a laser dinghy, these conditions would be described as hairy.
Yeah. What you do then is it all came back to me as the wheel left up, let out sail. It was like I've never stopped doing it. It was fantastic. Okay.
Hey? it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been dry sailing. Except they hit a wave then, and I'm not quite so dry as I was.
Well done.
That's it. Thank you. That was so brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Go for it. I want to definitely go for it. Blockhart seems the perfect machine for the West Coast, a place of wind and wide open beaches. Andy showed me how it packs up so small that it can fit into the boot of an ordinary saloon car. Hey, this isn't bad. Lick of paint, a couple of hours, as good as new. Yeah, the road we are taking up the coastal road up north is actually very dull. You'd be, as a traveller, be forgiven for thinking the area is boring. There are very few trees because the wind blows so incessantly here and so strongly here that tall trees just can't grow. It looks very arid. The grass is very dull grey. But once you get down to the sea, it's extraordinary. This area, we could be in the Caribbean. The colour of the sea, the brilliant white beaches, it really is something extraordinary. On most weekends, travellers come here and camp. There are very few places left in South Africa where one can still do this. Just pull over and pitch a tent. We actually asked these people if we could go and chat to them. But they said they just wanted to be left alone. Where else in the world can you just find a place, park your car and set up camp? Absolutely idyllic. With the sun going down, a good meal beckons. I've decided to take a shortcut through the dunes, but I'm not so sure that this is a good idea. The road has suddenly stopped, and suddenly there was just nothing, so I managed to park it on a slope, because if I park it flat we might not get going again, and it's extremely soft and the wind is blowing it up, so of course on the top there's this layer of incredibly soft sand. I'm just going to go and see, this is the direction we've got to go in to get to our overnight stop tonight, that little town over there. Let's see if I can find the road, it's got to be here somewhere. Our overnight stop is a settlement called Jacob's Bay. It's typical of West Coast villages with its white houses and prolific bird life, where its population numbers about 1,000 over the weekends and during the week about 9. On the GPS there is actually a track, amazingly enough, and we just came off it. We just didn't see it because the wind has covered it up. So I think we're going to left turn, and I think we're going to get back on it now. I really don't know where to go next. But one thing though, this D4D Hilux with its auto gearbox is brilliant on the dunes. The sand's it's just covered everything up. The track has just vanished. But there it is there. So up here, around, up the hump and down there. It's experience and you can't buy it. Well done. Other passion. No, not the Coke, the plane. I love flying. And this particular aircraft, it's called a Zimongo. It's a motorglider built in Brazil, French design. And why I'm showing you this is that in the Western Cape it has some unique qualities about it when it comes to aviation, particularly in terms of gliding. You can in one day soar ridge soaring off the ridges and thermal soaring and at the same time the airspace, most of it, is absolutely open and free. So flying in the area is an absolute passion. And the first thing I'm going to show you are some of the towns and the lagoon that we've just seen from the ground. Nothing quite prepares you for the thrill of soaring in a glider. I've been soaring now for about 22 years in proper gliders and aircraft like this one, which is better known as a motorglider. It has both the qualities of a glider in that it can fly beautifully with the engine off, soar, thermal, and stay up, as well as the qualities of a touring aircraft, travelling at high speed between towns if you want to use it for commuting and long distance travel. It doesn't quite perform as well as the pure gliders in a gliding environment, but the aircraft is just so much more versatile. Today my co-pilot is my 11-year-old daughter, Kate. Kate is already passionate about flying, even though she can't quite reach the rudder pedals yet. Kate will also operate the camera for this flight. The aircraft is powered by a 100 horsepower 4-cylinder horizontally opposed engine built in Austria by Rotax. Cruises at about 120 knots and it glides magnificently. Because the engine's warm and the Langebaan Lagoon on a rare windless day in early spring. It's a major shipping terminal servicing the local iron ore industry. And this is the sleepy town of Jacobs Bay. North of Cape Town, 50 kilometers or so, there's an area called Atlantis. And Atlantis has a dune field. It's very incongruous when you see it because everything around it is green and lush. And there is this area of powder white dunes. It's a playground for four-wheel drivers in the Cape Town area. So we're going to visit it. We're going to visit it twice, by air and with our four-wheel drive. Well, here we are. These are the fabled white dunes of Atlantis. Something interesting though. We're actually standing on sand, yes, but we're also standing on an enormous underground lake. The water here is so pure. The city of Cape Town actually has to do very little to it before they pipe it into the water systems of homes around the Cape Town area. We have absolutely no fear of doing any damage to the environment because the Atlantis Dunes are an ecologically safe playground for four-wheel drives and quads. Even the deepest tracks are completely erased within just a few days of the usual southeasterlies blowing. That's great fun. You know what the danger is though? It's so bright, it's so white that you can't actually see the edge of the dune. So the danger is dune driving is these slip faces where you get a kind of a vertical, almost like a 90-degree slope on the lee side of a dune. If you hit it too fast, bang, damaged car. I have invited two friends along this afternoon because they have made Atlantis Dunes their favourite weekday haunt. They come here almost every week and come and play in the dunes and then sit and socialise. The reason why I've invited them is because actually of their vehicles. They're very, very interesting and they are specially modified for fun in the dunes. would you say the secret is to good sand driving?
Momentum.
And
All
power.
about momentum. Well, the power helps you get the momentum. You've got momentum on your side, you've always got options in sand. The moment you stop, you run out of options. And obviously power helps because it's what gives you your momentum. So as long as you're moving, you've always got options. If you're big open sand spaces and you're moving, you've always got options. You'll see when we start going slower and slower and doing technical stuff, we use the lockers more and more because it gives you the option. If a wheel does lift or something, it makes sure that you've always got traction, and you won't fall over so easily. Doing the side slopes like this, you make sure that the back locker is on because it's unlikely that you'll fall over. If we didn't have the back locker on and the car went up on two wheels, you would run the risk of falling over. You'll notice we had momentum all the time there as well. The moment you start running out of momentum, you try and head to safer territory
by turning down.
By turning down quickly because you feel the motor fading or you feel your momentum slowing down. You make sure that you've got other options, and obviously the other option is to get out of the situation that you're in. Generally, as a rule, though, obviously you go straight up and straight down hills.
Yeah, well, that's what you've got to teach everybody to go up and down straight. But you've got power, and you can get away with it.
Actually, go sideways up the hill like we're doing now.
And it's power giving you that option.
Power is giving us the momentum, and that's giving us all the options that we have. And as long as we're moving, we
I must say, I love your car. I think it's fantastic.
Lots of fun here.
The type of driving we're doing now is obviously just to show what the cars can and will do. Normally we do not really chase around the top speed like we're doing now. We're trying to play a bit more technically.
Yes, Hein, we all believe you. The fact is that Mike and Hein are more than just competent off-road drivers. They're extremely knowledgeable and skilled. But they just couldn't keep it slow with the cameras around.
It was a Disco 2, a 4-litre model, but I stroked it to 4.6 litres and also high compression, so it works well. It's got about 168 kilowatt and 407 newtons. Different type of play. We'll try a bit of angle driving and then see a bit of technical stuff. See if you can do, very sharp turns like this, forcing the car to turn where it normally wouldn't. Especially on this, you're on a camber and we're trying to turn up the wrong way, so you've got a bit of technique, trying to spin the car around like that. But if you do that type of thing, you'll see I've placed the locker switches on the center console here. So as I'm driving, I'll mostly be using one hand, and the other hand will be playing with the back and front locker as we go along.
It's amazing how the car performs. It really does perform well.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very, very nice of you.
Don't ever need an excuse to drive in the sand.